What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, I want to talk a little bit about the trade deadline that just occurred. As we all know, November 1st was the trade deadline for the 2022 season, essentially meaning that no trades can officially be made until the start of the new league year in March of 2023. Now, we really didn't hear a lot involving the New England Patriots this year at the trade deadline, which isn't exactly unlike Bill Belichick. There's some years where we're hearing a lot, and there's some years we're hearing absolutely nothing, and this is just one of those years we really didn't hear anything. The only thing we were hearing is that the Patriots were receiving trade calls about their wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar. The Patriots were potentially looking to ship off Isaiah Wynn. But we really didn't hear that the Patriots were reaching out to other teams or that they were interested in acquiring any other player. But after the trade deadline had concluded, we found out that Chase Claypool, the Steelers wide receiver who was traded to the Chicago Bears, was almost traded to the New England Patriots. And this really just goes to show that you don't know the whole story, and that sometimes Bill Belichick has things up his sleeve that he is trying to get done. Now, for those of you who don't know, essentially the trade that went down between the Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers sent off Chase Claypool, who I believe at this point was a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 for them at this point. And Chicago traded a 2023 second round pick in exchange for him, which in my own personal opinion, they pushed a little bit. I think that's a little bit too much that you're giving up here for Chase Claypool, in my own personal opinion, but we'll get into that in this video. Rumors actually came out that the Patriots offered a better package of draft picks to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Chase Claypool, but the Pittsburgh Steelers turned down New England and essentially traded him to the Chicago Bears because they didn't want the Patriots to have him. As we all know, Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots, it's been a franchise rival for a while, okay? It's not one of those rivals like, the Packers and the Bears or anything like that, but it's one of those low-key rivals, and it looks like Mike Tomlin just did not want to send one of his players that he knew could make a difference in our system. Now, essentially what I believe that the Patriots were offering for Chase Claypool, it's not exactly known what it was. We just know that they offered a better package of picks. I believe that the Patriots did offer a second round pick and then probably a mid to late round pick. It wouldn't surprise me if New England offered a second and fifth or a second and fourth for Chase Claypool. And we heard that a lot of teams were interested in Claypool at the trade deadline. The Packers were one of them. We heard the Chiefs a little bit before the Kadarius Toney trade. Obviously the Chicago Bears, but we did not hear the New England Patriots being interested at all. But Bill Belichick in the past has praised Chase Claypool, even just going back to week 2 of this season when he said, and I quote, "Covering Chase Claypool is like covering a guy like Rob Gronkowski." Coming from Bill Belichick, that is high praise. Now, Claypool originally entered the league in 2020 as a second-round pick, and it honestly blows my mind that the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to still get a second-round pick back in return for him. I think that he's probably around a third-round pick, maybe a second-round pick, but I would say that if I would do that trade, I'd want a 6th or 7th round pick in return also for Claypool. He's been very consistent throughout his time in the NFL. His rookie season, he put up 873 yards. Last year, he put up 860 yards, and so far this year has 324 yards. Not to mention that he really can be a touchdown machine. He's big in the end zone. 9 touchdowns in his first season, and just two last year, and so far 1 this year. Now, the good thing too about Claypool, at least I guess in this case for the Chicago Bears, as they're the one that got the deal done, is that you're getting Chase Claypool for the rest of this year, but you're also getting him next year on that 4-year rookie contract. And in all honesty, one, I'm surprised the Patriots were looking to add another wide receiver. The only way it would make sense to add another wide receiver, especially to give up that amount of draft capital, would be if the Patriots were looking to already ship off one of their wide receivers. So I truly believe that if New England did acquire Chase Claypool, that would have meant that there would have been a double whammy trade, essentially meaning we get Chase Claypool, we're shipping off Kendrick Bourne or Nelson Aguilar or Devontae Parker. Because the Patriots are already pretty stacked at the wide receiver position, not even being able to get all their wide receivers the accurate amount of playing time per week. You add somebody like Chase Claypool to that, and now you have somebody like Nelson Aguilar or Kendrick Bourne essentially not playing at all for you on a week-to-week basis. Now, while the addition of Chase Claypool definitely would have been an exciting one as Patriots fans to watch, these additions are always fun. I think Chase Claypool is a fun player to watch. He's just very similar to what the Patriots already have in Devontae Parker, and I just don't see why you need two of those guys. Devontae Parker is dealing with an injury right now, but he's really expected to be week to week and very well could just miss 1 week and return after our bye. I really think New England has enough weapons already. They just need to find ways to scheme it up and get these guys open and get these guys involved. You have two tight ends that you're paying top 10 money at the position. You just drafted a speedster in Tyquan Thornton in the second round of this year's draft. You traded for Devontae Parker. You have Kendrick Bourne, who you still need to find ways to get involved after almost putting up 1,000 yards last year. Not to mention already still having your number one wide receiver in Jacoby Myers. I like that New England has a variety of different styled wide receivers. You have your speedsters in Aguilar and Tyquan Thornton. You have your technician receivers in Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers. And then you have your bully ball wide receiver in Devontae Parker. In all honesty, I think New England has a lot of holes that they are going to have to figure out how to address at the end of this season. It's not just going to be the draft, and it's not just going to be in free agency. It's going to take both in order to have a total U-Haul of this offense and still make additions to the defense while still re-signing some of our key players. I think New England is at a point where the wide receivers they have, between the wide receivers and tight ends, it's very manageable to get production out of those guys. Again, you just need to find ways to get them involved, get them into space, and scheme them up based off of what their strengths are. I don't think this is 2 years ago where the Patriots have a pushing need for wide receiver. I don't think that Chase Claypool by any means is a wide receiver 1. I think that on this team, he's wide receiver 2 at best, likely wide receiver 3. And I'm just not willing to give up that amount of high draft capital when there's so many other needs we have to address, unless that's going to be towards a wide receiver 1. I think that Claypool, is an excellent scheme fit there in Chicago. I think he's going to do really well. But the thing, too, about Chase Claypool is that he doesn't exactly run a quarterback-friendly route. And this is something that Tony Romo himself pointed out in Chase Claypool's final game with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he ran a simple slant on a pass that should have been an easy catch and run for an additional 10 to 15 yards after the catch, but ultimately goes as an incomplete pass because he doesn't run the route correctly. The Patriots are right now at a point offensively where Mac Jones needs to get the ball out as quick as possible, meaning that he needs receivers that are going to get open right away and run the correct routes. The Patriots can't afford miscommunications right now between quarterback and wide receiver. They can't afford dropped passes or fumbles by their receivers anymore. So at the end of the day, guys, I really think that this is a true blessing in disguise, as weird as that might sound. Because now those high draft capital picks that you would have given up for Claypool can now get put in a position to help us out in an area that is much, much, much more needed than wide receiver. But what are your guys' thoughts on rumors coming out, or reports rather coming out, that the New England Patriots tried to trade for Chase Claypool at the trade deadline before he was traded to the Chicago Bears, and the fact that the New England Patriots offered a better package of picks for Claypool than the Chicago Bears? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news if you haven't already. And guys, share this video with everybody you know. It helps me in the channel out so much, and the YouTube algorithm. Help other Patriots fans find my channel, and let's grow this Patriots global community. It would mean the world to me. But without further ado, don't you guys ever forget, Go Pats.
In Astroworld.